you've been following competitive Madden over the last week or two, you've probably heard the buzzword flip streak. Now, this is a tactic that is catching wildfire in competitive Madden right now, but a lot of players don't know that the flip streak is actually 5 tips in 1.
What?
So in today's video, I'm going to take you behind the curtain over at gridirongameplans.gg to explain the ways that you can use the flip streak trick to create a number of routes, in particular, the hot route wheel. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Dan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the flip streak. This is a tip that is really popular right now. You're seeing it all over the community. I'm going to first break this down to you out of the most meta formation to run this from. Drum roll, please. Gun bunch. I mean, come on, you knew it was going to be gun bunch, right? I mean, every tip is gun bunch. Every single tip is gun bunch. Anywho, this is nonetheless one of the more popular tactics that people are running right now out of bunch. Very tough to defend for the current defensive meta. This is actually something that I just put on Gridiron Game Plans, not the flip streak, because I think a lot of people miss the boat on how valuable this particular concept is as a whole, because this is actually 5 routes in 1. But I'm going to show you today what the flip streak is, and then I'm going to show you guys how to create hot routed wheels on your play as well. So let's go ahead and first show this to you out of, obviously the gun bunch, and then we'll start to apply it to other formations as well. One thing that strikes me about this particular concept that is so good is that a lot of players are going to run it out of the play mesh spot. And the reason that they choose mesh spot is because they want the running back wheel, and then they also want the tight end wheel and then the flip streak on the same play. Really tough to defend. In fact, if you go back a couple days ago, I kind of broke down mesh spot with the regular streak and why that is so popular. And this kind of plays off of that tip a little bit more. So the way that we're actually going to do this is we're going to call our bunch to the short side of the field. And we're going to call the play mesh spot. And this is going to revolve around flipping your formation and hot routing the point man in your bunch to a streak. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip your play. I'm going to go ahead and put the X receiver on a flat route first, and then you're going to flip your play and put Cobb on a streak. And what you'll see is that if you do this, he'll run to the inside. Now you'll have to practice to get this down, but you want to hot route him to that streak when he hits the guard, number 76, that left guard. And that tells him to run a streak, to the left side with a left-sided tail. Now, what a lot of people will do off of this is they'll flat the B receiver after they flipped, and now you've got this 3-tiered inside release streak. All these different delayed routes that really give, the meta a lot of problems. So what I'm talking about here for this pinch 2 meta, or the DB Fire 2 meta, is you get a lot of players that want to hang out here with their user. They snap the ball, swoop down, and then you've got this wheel route to the running back, right? So this is one of the really popular ways that people attack this meta. So a lot of people knew that already out of mesh spot, but what really makes this tough is that now you're in a spot where you actually have 2 routes in that same area that you want to guard. So if I were to go ahead and set this up, put X on a flat, you're going to flip the play, put right bumper on a streak when he hits the left guard, so he runs to the inside, and then you're going to flat the B receiver. Now in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of user the running back, right? So in that previous example, we hit the running back running the wheel route down that left side. And that's because a lot of players want to kind of swoop down at the center and get a disengage or a free runner off the edge, which you see that we actually had 2 of them. You had the left and right slot corners both free, but because this is a nice quick hitting play, we're able to get the ball out to the running back. So naturally, once they get beat by that once or twice, what a lot of players are going to do is they're going to kind of swoop and then get back to that running back route. But what's going to end up happening is that's going to end up opening the inside flip streak up the middle, because what ends up happening in a cover 2 shell is the other vert hook is going to guard the tight end route, or at least get out towards the tight end route. So what a lot of players do is they're looking for you to be in a cover 3 or cover 4, like we broke down in the mesh spot video the other day, explaining why those wheels are so good. But when it comes to the cover 2 meta, a lot of players want to run this cover 2 shell and especially bring pressure and swoop. Like you see right here, we're able to get basically the nose tackle free, plus it looked like both edge corners. I mean, this was 3 guys free, sending 5, but we were able to get the ball out so fast, they can only choose one or the other. So in the previous example, we got the running back open. Now they go back to the running back, in the middle of the field is open. Now they're in a spot where they basically, if they want to be in this defense, they can't send pressure. So again, the way that I'm going to break this down is you're going to put the X receiver on a flat. You're going to flip the formation and put right bumper on a streak when he hits the left guard or the near guard. And then you're going to put the outside receiver on a flat on the bunch side. Now, again, with this particular setup, let's say that they've been beat by this a couple times, right? So what they do is they're going to user the running back, and maybe they say, okay, I know he wants to run a flip streak right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to man him up. So they're going to put this guy in man coverage on this guy. What that's going to end up doing is it's going to put you in a spot where now they snap that ball, you go to swoop, they're going to hit the tight end on his wheel. And I threw that maybe just a little bit earlier because I was trying to use our two controllers at the same time, but you're going to be patient enough to wait for that tight end to turn up the field. So let me go ahead and set this up again here. Put the right bumper on a streak as soon as he hits that near side guard, put B on a flat. And again, if they're kind of paying special attention to that flip streak with this linebacker and kind of using the running back with this linebacker, again, when you snap this ball, they're going to wait for him to turn up the field. And then you see that you got this nice tender area against that cover 2 blitz. So this absolutely destroys the pinch 2 meta, the DB fire 2 meta, but that's only the cusp of the tip. That's pretty much where most pros leave this tip. This is actually far better than you actually believe with other formations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now hop into the trips tight end meta. If you guys are enjoying this free YouTube content, I would strongly urge you to go over to my strategy website. GridironGameplans.gg is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault Update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active, and access to our Discord server, where every single Wednesday, we have a live lab session covering the week's Vault content and any questions you guys have about Madden. So make sure you guys head over to GridironGameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. So as you guys saw in that Gridiron Game Plans interstitial ad, kind of, talking up the vault. This is a vault tip. This came out this week, like I've mentioned already. I'm going to take this a step further here in this particular YouTube video. So now you guys are going to see me apply this in this YouTube video in a way that actually I didn't even put in the vault. But again, you guys should definitely be checking out the Vault content. I'm telling you, the last 3 weeks of content in the Vault on Gridiron, especially on the defensive side of the ball, have completely shifted the meta. If you guys struggle with escape artist quarterbacks, if you guys are struggling to, keep people in the pocket in general, I've got you covered, I promise. Arguably the best contained defense in the game. Go over to Gridiron Game Plans, check that Vault. That last week of December and the first week of January have been out of control good. The reviews on the content have been out of this world. So I know you guys are tired of hearing about it, but I'm telling you, go check it out. It is unreal good. Now let's go ahead and talk about how to hot route a wheel, because I think that this is what most of you watched the video for. So what we're going to do here is we are going to, I'm going to call that same DB fire 2. So on the defensive side of the ball, we got that. And then I'm going to call trips tight end offense. Right here, we're in, I believe, the Packers book. But what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of take a look at our formation. And what you'll notice is that when you flip, you have to pay attention to where the receivers run to. So all 3 receivers basically flip sides of their formation when you do this. But the most important guy that we want to pay attention to is the B receiver, or the outside receiver, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Or if we were going to come out with the trips to the wide side and flip, Adams would be the wide side receiver. So when we go to flip this, as you guys know, if I flip the play and then put Adams on a streak when he hits the near guard, he's going to run kind of a slant and go, which is that inverted streak. This is actually a really, really good tip because, if I wanted to kind of try to hit that seam route, this would be something that you could, in theory, end up doing right here. It's kind of like that play Y curl out of the gun bunch. So you can kind of create that slant and go route. But what's really, really cool about it is if you actually time your streak hot route a little bit differently. If the near side offensive lineman is an inside release, the far side offensive linemen are the outside release. So I've been putting them on streaks when they hit the same side guard on the side they originally line up. So meaning when I flip it, I'm hitting number 76. I'm hot routing them to the streak when they hit the guard. If I do this same trick with Valdes-Scantling, but I wait until he hits the right guard, he is going to run a wheel route, which is really, really nice when it's pressed up against the boundary or the wide side sideline. The boundary would be the near side sideline, but that's a talk for a Madden 101 video. But what this is going to do effectively is allow you to kind of create these interesting wheel route combos that are going to essentially get you into that cover 2 window way better than a fade would. So now when we're running this defense, you have to kind of imagine here that you snap this ball, and provided that you have time, you're going to wait for him to wheel up that sideline. And of course, we got our double team split right there. But you see that this wheel route is going to get into that window. We'll call another cover 2 shell here momentarily. But what's really, really cool about this is this guy is going to run this wheel, hit the sideline, outside release, and this gets so much width, actually way better width than a fade route would. So this allows you to really hit this window down the sideline in a spot where this deep half safety and a cover 2 defense is going to really struggle to get there. So let me kind of show that to you again. I'm going to call just a generic cover 2 right here. And I'm going to do the same trick. So I'm going to flip, and I'm going to put Valdes-Scantling on a streak, but not until he hits number 62, which is the opposite side guard. I'm then going to go ahead and put maybe a little baby out route underneath of it. Maybe we put a seam. This would be a really, really solid cover 2 beater, like a really, really good one. And then maybe you put the running back on a check and release underneath, or whatever you want to do, right? So what you can do here against the cover 2 is kind of let him get into that cover 2 window and then throw this ball outside. And you see that that's a much better angle than what a generic fade would get. So I'm going to show this to you here in the instant replay. Again, we're going to show you that proximity to the sideline that he gets versus, you know, a traditional fade, which we're going to put on the next play. So you take a look here. He runs the outside release, and now he's, you know, maybe 3 or 4 yards from the sideline. You see that he's definitely a step or 2 outside of the positive play logo. You see that I'm able to throw this ball on the sideline, and that deep half can't get there. Also, don't ignore the fact that he also doesn't get jammed. A lot of times in a cloud flat, they want to jam that receiver and shove him inside, so that way this safety is closer to that player. When you're unbumpable into the sideline window in a cover 2, this is really, really tough. A lot of times in a cover 2, and this is probably another Madden 101 video, the outside player in a cover 2, his jam assignment is called a MIR, or a mandatory inside release. They have to shove them in and narrow the width of the formation or the spacing of the routes down to make the deep half safety's job easier. When you get into this cover 2 window, which is outside release on the cloud flat corner on the sideline, which is this player right here, if you can get outside release on him, cover 2 breaks down in a big way. So you're able to kind of throw this ball in. You see right here, we're catching the ball literally a yard and a half from the sideline. If I were to compare that to the same route combo, which is going to be, I'm going to put him on a fade, but I'm going to do everything else the same here against this particular Tampa 2. So I'm going to audible into a cover 2 and then kind of do something like this here. I'll keep the pass rush off of me. I want you to watch how Valdes-Scantling is shoved here. So he runs this route. He actually got into that window. And again, if that happens, it ends up being death. But again, you also saw right there, I had to wait longer on that throw and it was still intercepted, which really, really stinks. So the odds of him getting into the window with the wheel are 100%. Sometimes they'll get into that window against a cover 2 defense on their own, just kind of dice roll wise. But this tip makes sure that you end up getting into that window on jammed pretty consistently. Now I'm pretty sure my play art glitched here.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
And it did. But again, you see right here that, you know, you've got this throw, and you see right there, you can fit that throw in, and that was against a soft squat zone right there. So pretty easy to get that ball into that sideline window with this tip. Now, again, the more receivers you have crossing the field with this, the crazier you can get with it. So watch this. If I were to flip, I could go ahead and put Valdes-Scantling on a an inside release. I could put you know, Adams on an outside release. Now they're going to run the routes side by side, but I just thought it would be cool to kind of show you. Again, you could kind of do the same thing like you see here. So now I've got kind of this wheel on one side, slant and go on the other. Maybe we put a hitch to Cobb or something. Right now, Cobb's play art is glitched as well. These play art glitches are something else, man.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
But again, you know, when you're running this type of concept, what's really, really interesting about it is just the new route combos that you can make. Just the ability to kind of run these. Again, you see right here that I can fit that into a perfect sideline window. I don't need a seam route to pull that safety into the numbers, even though you can if you want to make it even more open. But again, you see right here, just a perfect outside release into the cover 2 window, unpressed. You can kind of hold the vert hook with this hitch. I've got this inside release slant and then up the seam. So if they're not using in that area of the field, you could throw it to split the safeties. There's really just truthfully a ton that you can do with this conceptually that a lot of players won't be prepared for. So That is the flip streak. It's also a wheel route as well. And in fact, there are micro versions of both the inside release and the outside release. You can fiddle around with those. If you wanted more information on those, you can go over to gridirongameplans.gg. But that is today's video, guys. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, make sure you guys drop those below. We're pushing towards 12,000 subscribers here on the channel. Thank you so much for all the support. Hope you guys enjoyed the peek behind the Gridiron Game Plans vault, that curtain that is over it. And if you guys liked it, go over to the website. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow right back here with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.